Hello and welcome to a bit of a time-lapse slash tutorial. So this is a real-world job. It's for a client that has a BMW M3 race car, and he has, I think, the radiator in the back, and so he wants a scoop in the style of that black car that we had there pictured. That was his reference image. So I took a 3D scan of his window, and as you can see, I brought it into Rhino, and I'm just kind of lining it up. I used my Orient 3-point trick, which you can find in my back catalog, and now I'm just trying to make like a network surface or some sort of surface that I can use as a basis for my 3D modeling from that window scan, because the vent's going to go on the window. So I'm just messing around with the curves here, trying to find the best combination to make a surface that is as close as possible to that window. So I ended up doing it by doing a rebuild curve, and you can see here I've got the point deviation map, and I'm just checking that I'm happy with the deviation, which in the end I was. Point deviation is a great tool, but beware it does take a few minutes to load. So after speaking with him, he said he wanted this particular style. So I copied the outline from the image, and then I kind of tried to rebuild it using 3-point curves and blend curves, and that gave me the outline. Now I went to the front view and I took the profile too, just as a bit of a starting point, and I started surfacing that. So first of all I split the surface using that outline and I offset it. And it took me a while to get this, and I tried all sorts of different things. I extracted ISO curves, I used cage edit, I extruded the end, and then used a blend surface towards it. I honestly spent a fair bit of time. This whole section of getting this initial model took me about half an hour up to having the shape. So I spent a good 20 minutes figuring out that central part. So in the end, I went with a central part, as you can see here, and then I made two side pieces using the Blend Surface command. Started getting it reasonably good, and then I thought I might want a radius coming into the flat section. So I made a pipe because I couldn't get a fillet, and then started blend surfacing. That actually looked a bit big for me, so I went back after this bit and I did a smaller blend surface. But as I often do, at this point I'm just playing with the shape, just trying to figure it out, just getting a feel for what works and what doesn't work, and hitting Control Z a lot, trying something, going back, undoing it, trying again. So I reduced the gap and again blend surf, and sometimes I use sweep 2 as well. If you have two blend surfs next to each other and the edges don't line up, start with a blend surf and then I do a sweep 2 after that. So I was pretty happy with the shape at this point, and I filled in the end, and I actually did an area calculation to get the amount of air that goes in, and now I started wanting to make it a solid because my client wants to print it. If it were just for CNC machining a mold or something, I wouldn't so much worry about making a solid. And as I started trying to make it a solid, I had to kind of solve a few issues here. Rebuild a few little pieces. That's on the inside C side. I used the offset command, make solid tick to no, and then kind of just use a combination of blend, surfacing, splitting, trimming, split edge to get the inside. I can definitely slow all this down and go through it step by step if you wanted to. This is more of just an overview, but just leave me a note in the comments if you'd like me to go through some of these techniques in detail. That was a tricky little spot, and I kind of cheated. Sometimes when I have, edges that are kind of like overlapping, I just pull both the surfaces back and I do a blend surface or even an edge surface in between them. So yeah, I'm just trying to make it a solid at this stage, which I succeeded with in the end. So I go to the display mode and I turn object settings color back faces, and then that makes it easy to see where there are open surfaces. So I submit that to the client and he was really happy. He wants to 3D print one. So instead of doing the full window, we're going to just make an inserted piece. So I trimmed out a shape about 30 millimeters around the vent, and then I just had a couple of open edges to sort, just this one little one, just the usual thing, splitting it back. I did a blend curve there, trim that in, and then see edge surface. Just keep trying. Using the edge analysis tool, which I will do a little feature on, I think, because I find it super handy. Okay, and the other thing the client wanted to look at was the offside, like the pipe that comes out is going to come on the inside. So I started creating that by doing an offset on that surface and then trimming the surface and then untrimming it to give me a solid thing. And my calculation earlier showed me that we want to go to about 100 millimeter diameter tube. So I just started placing a tube approximately where I think it's going to go. The great thing about all this is it's going to get 3D printed and tested before we go ahead and make a carbon fiber one. So just, and again, I'm just a surface modeler. I'm not really a motorsport specialist. So I kind of just run off what the client tells me, and I rely pretty heavily on feedback as I do for most of my projects. However, this was kind of the description he gave me of what he wanted. So I started off by surfacing this. So this panel is designed to go on the inside of the print, and it just gives you a bit of a exhaust, I suppose, for the air that gets scooped in, and this will direct it down to the radiator, is it, that goes at the back? Using the offset command, trimming, and I've recently started using offset curve on surface, which I really find handy for saves me setting up seaplanes onto surfaces. And I'm finally starting to get used to the auto seaplane function, which is new in Rhino 8, and I've been using Rhino 8 since it came out, but I had a pretty good workflow that I was used to already, but I can definitely say it is a helpful feature, the old auto seaplane. Anyway, again, just a bit of surfacing, kind of blending edges and all that, using trims, basically cheating to fill in things and make them solid, because this is 3D printable, and you'll see soon in the video I actually slice it all up into little sections for the client. Often you'll find it comes down to one little fillet, and you'll fix that fillet and then you have to go and do the next one, and so on and so forth. You'll often get at some little point that is going to cause you trouble. So yeah, finishing that off, capping it, and I believe it becomes a closed poly surface not long after this. Just chasing down those, there are always little bits like that, little edges that you've got to find. You can click the zoom icon on the edge analysis and it will take you to the areas, and you'll note I've got the color back faces on. And if you just keep with it, just stay persistent, at some point it's going to become a solid. Right, I think we're there. So we close poly surface now. Then after that, I've decided I wanted a bit more of a flowy shape into the outlet pipe. So I went. I'm a glutton for punishment. I went and deleted all of that part and resurfaced it. Then I made some 250 by 250 millimeter boxes, and I started slicing it up for a bamboo labs, just finding the right orientation. And often what I do here is I change the color. It makes it easy for me to remember that it's a different print, and easy to show to clients as a visual of what they need to print, because this is getting printed on the client's printer because he has a bamboo labs. So I managed to get this back piece in 3 pieces and the outside in 4 pieces. I like using the wire cut command, and there I go, just changing the colors. Makes it easy for me to see my separate pieces. Back on the scan, checking how it looks, kind of rendering it, seeing how it looks. So there we go, another real life project partially complete, or at least back on the client and they're doing a test print. Please like and subscribe for more content like this, as well as in-depth tutorials and projects like this one. I'll be coming back with an update on this once we've got the print, and maybe when we're making the carbon fiber part. So yeah, really appreciate those of you that are subscribing and liking. It just helps me to understand that the content I'm making is helping. Thank you so much for your attention, and yeah, get out there and do some cool stuff in Rhino. Let me know if you need help. See ya.